when I can see it on YouTube, I will play the intro music. It was me thinking, my thing just flashed up my iPad. I thought, no, it couldn't be that quick, could it? And it wasn't. It was something about Luke Kuechly. There we go.
Good old Luke.
Yeah. Apparently going to pick up a scouting role with the Panthers. Because,
Really? Yeah, well,
cool.
The amount of film, I watched something ages ago, and the amount of film that he watches before games is absurd. So
Yeah, he's a good
You understand why he came into that sort
Yeah. Right.
of,
Indeed. Right, copying link, and then I will hit the intro music.
The whole Liam Kumar Day effect, not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I rang up Mendenhall, he said he could make it.
Don't think this whole Phil, credit to the guy, he always manages to do well what he has to. He is a shocking person right now. You guys got a trophy? No.
It was pre-event.
No, my life from Rashad Mendenhall.
Right, you go. I'm a tag, Jack! I'm a fucking tag!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the LOC Report. We are in the Hall of Fame nominations off-season series, podcast style, and once again I am joined by co-host Chris Leach. Who else? How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, very good, thanks. That's it. Good to be back. Not a lot's happened since last week.
No, yeah, work and staying inside just like every other week for you at the moment. But no sun blinding you today, which is a plus and a minus, I suppose.
You may have seen last week, yes, in the last 15 minutes of the thing. Yeah, I was being overwhelmed by the sun now, so that isn't going to be the case this week because I'm in another room. So and it's not sunny. That helps. Yeah,
that does also help. So yeah, we are here to talk today about another LOC Hall of Fame nomination. But what do we like before we talk business on the podcast, Chris?
Well, it's got to be some news.
Absolutely. And news you will have, but not much of it, as we are still in the dead period of the LOC and NFL calendar. Just as another constant reminder, the LOC draft is the 29th of August. Probably will be in the afternoon or evening at some time, so do not double book yourself for that date. I have a little bit of an update on the whole league situation with. Well, we saw from the Premier League they're coming back on the 17th or 16th of June, 17th of June it is, and we're seeing that I think the Portuguese league is back tonight. Is that right, Chris? I'm pretty sure.
Everybody's favourite league.
Yeah,
in Portugal.
Absolutely, in Portugal. The Italian league returns soon, and I know MLB is discussing with players coming to an agreement on a slightly shortened season and such. So, good signs for the NFL season ahead. The NFL are not going to have their training camps at the end of June, but it looks like things will, from July at least, be going ahead as normal with a planned the season to start on time, albeit without fans in the stadium. So all good news on that front so far. But in some other bad news, there is also some other stuff going on in the States. We will not touch on that here, but we will of course say that the LOC does indeed believe that Black Lives Matter as well. So that is all the league news we have today. We will get straight to what we are here to talk about today. Last week we had a very strong opener, didn't we, Chris, in Ben's nomination of his 7-year run, Draft Magic, with no losing seasons. Do you want to just recap that again for us?
Well, it's an unprecedented, consistent body of work that we haven't seen before. We'd like to see again, to be quite honest with you. The reason why that Ben's been so good over the last 8, 9, 10 seasons is because he can get his drafts together and make it work. And throughout the course of the year, we've seen that he doesn't wheel and deal, he doesn't use much of the waivers. He relies on his drafts a lot, and that's been the bedrock. And to be honest with you, there's not that many people that can say that to one, draft as well as he has, and two, compete for as many as he has, many titles as he has, over those amount of years, and he has been competitive for pretty much all of them. So it takes something to top that.
Sure does.
And I think today's, not to give too much away.
No, of course.
it's still a very consistent body of work, but in a very different way.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. If you did miss Ben's last week, go back and have a watch. These episodes are fairly short. I think it was only about half an hour, 35 minutes last week's pod. Today will be probably more of the same, perhaps even shorter. And of course, read the article as well. The article to today's one is in the comments. And I should say as well, I can see we have at least 1 or 2 people watching. Please do comment along if you are watching. These are still live shows, of course, even though it's our off-season series. So yeah, today's nomination is Bear Necessities nomination, and it is for Head of Marketing. So you may initially be foxed by that one, and you'd be right to be foxed, I suppose. So I will just hand the nomination here as well. So the title of the nomination is Costume Design plus TV Coverage for the NFL games in London. Now, last week you may have been scratching your head and thinking, as a Hall of Fame voter, it's great, but it's maybe too long a stretch. It's bordering on career. That's up to you to decide. We both discussed that and were okay with it, as it is a defined period and nothing could, he couldn't do the same period in a future nomination, for example. You may be saying the same question today as well. Why is that relevant? Because that's actually got literally nothing. It's not a career. It's got nothing to do with the fantasy league. And in terms of actual fantasy play, Chris, those people would be right to think that. But as we all know, most of us, actually all of us, we were just discussing, me and Chris before we come on, have been to an NFL game with my dad, and a fair amount of us have also worn a said costume to said NFL game. We both have.
We have.
You'll never forget, Chris. No.
No, I mean, this. We'll get to it in a minute, and I had there's a photo on my phone which just sums it up brilliantly. So hopefully you'll be able to see that at home in a bit. But I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, it did enhance the day.
Yeah, for sure. So, without talking around it too much, so yeah, this nomination is for all of the costumes, and as I say, the TV coverage of the NFL games. They are classed as effectively league events for the reasons I just said, so we'll just get going. So that pretty much sums up the first paragraph of the article anyway. I mean, we all know that we love a costume for the game days when we can. And it did all start with the third NFL game in London, which was the second we went to, as we annoyingly missed the very first one. Otherwise we could have said we went to them all, but that's neither here nor there. Which was the Patriots versus Buccaneers, and of course you can hopefully see the photo on my screen as well, Chris and viewers alike. My dad started small with just a kind of a cut-out head thing to wear, which you can see in that picture was a flying Elvis. Which I will say is not the most comfortable thing to wear. I did have a bit of a sore neck after that day. But it was effective. It got some photos. And I also have a video to show you. The videos start early. Chris, you unfortunately won't be able to see this, but the viewers will be able to see and hear it. You're probably going to know what it is. It is the infamous Brady video. I'll just let that play out for a second.
There he is.
So that was coverage on Sky Sports. So I made the highlight reel for that game. And then the very next year we had the Denver Broncos, where we did another. You can't see it from the side, but you can go and see from the shape. It is a cut out of a Bronco and with face paint and whatnot. So small beginnings, wouldn't you say, Chris? But fairly effective at the same time.
Absolutely, but that's it. The seeds were planted there. That's it, to go and the next year try and dominate the proceedings. And I think that when we scroll out a little bit more, you'll see that did happen.
Absolutely, and it's always worth pointing out in the early days of the NFL International Series here, it was almost a big thing for Sky Sports because they wanted to drum up interest in the league. So things like this got a lot of pop early on when, it was a bit more, shall we say, as a novelty, where it's become a bit more mainstream now, of course. So even though these were quaint, certainly as compared to what we're about to see, still effective. And but really 2011 is where it took off, a year after the Broncos game, where we dressed up as bears, literal bears. You can see fluorescent ones, and we had a couple of, we had a banana, a tiger, and you can see on the right there a Buccaneer as well, as it was the Bears versus the Buccaneers. And this is really where it properly started, isn't it, Chris?
Ben has never let that down, by the way. Ben has never lived that down. He's always said, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to a game where I've got to dress up again as a result of that costume. So
I mean, he seems to look like he is enjoying it right there, wouldn't you say? I don't know
I would
what
say
he's
so.
complaining
I'd say
about.
he's very enthusiastic. In fact, of all of you, he's most enthusiastic.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
But how many beers he was in by that point?
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't remember how old we were. We were in college, so we were 20. Actually, we may not have even been drinking age so we can't even use that excuse. I don't think at that time.
But in that case, then that's it. In that case, it's just
Pure adrenaline,
pure
maybe.
exuberance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should have said at the top as well. So all these costumes are, I will say, designed by my dad. I will reveal the maker of most of them later on, who also deserves a lot of credit for this. But so all of these designs have been created by my dad, as in the actual outlines and such. So you can see that was actually a still from the TV as well. I think we had an interview that year. We must have done. And of course, I haven't got the video to hand, but we did get some coverage from the commentators in that game as well, where they point us, they circled us out in the stands, which is one of a few times that has happened. And they were very confused why we were fluorescent, but as we know, Americans don't really get it. Why were we fluorescent, Chris?
Yeah. That is it. That, to be honest with you, that is a theme we're going to see throughout all this. Is that whatever costumes that there are, the Americans don't get it. and you know, there are a lot of people on Sky like sitting at home and laughing along with this. Bearing in mind that you see more ridiculous things in international cricket.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've seen more ridiculous things in international cricket. This is guys, 8, 9, 10 guys, you know, dressed up in various ways. This is nothing in comparison to that.
Absolutely not. No.
But I have to say that in comparison to the rest of the crowd, that does stand out always. For sure.
But what you were saying, look, an American wouldn't know about cricket, but an American would absolutely know what goes on at baseball games, and I'm sure you've seen as well, Chris, the bobblehead races, Mr. Freeze. They have a lot of weird stuff there as well, so you think they would, piece it together that, that's the Bears' colours. They are Bears.
No good baseball franchise has worth their salt does not have Taco Tuesday.
For sure, yeah. But back to Bear Necessities. So my dad did create the costumes themselves, the idea for the costumes, what he wanted, bought all the felt and the jerseys, of course, and they did look fantastic and were certainly highly effective. Followed up was slightly tamed down, as we can see in 2012. Me and my dad went as Minutemen. I went as one of the American revolutionaries, and you can see my dad there with a red coat. It was the Patriots against the St. Louis Rams. You look kind of surprised there, Chris.
I like that.
Yeah, that's probably our actually most realistic costume, shall we say.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you look smart in that.
Yeah.
And if I saw you walking in the street looking like that, yes, you look like you're straight out of 1776, which is fair.
What we were going for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And that's it. And clearly, the Patriots fans loved it.
Yeah, and that guy, I don't know if you see on Facebook, there's a page that guy runs called the Patriots Prognosticators, which I've been a member of ever since, and that's a nice little memory for me. Had we not dressed up in that, me and my dad are both in that group, I would have never found that group or been part of it, and it's good discussion and everything as well. So, that's what it's all about, the costumes, really, isn't it? Bringing people together. And certainly, I think we got another TV interview with Bianca Westwood that year. Again, I don't have the clip, but it definitely did happen. But as we will see in the very next year, realistic toned down affair from 2012 goes to, which probably is either the pinnacle or tied with the pinnacle for me. The Vikings costumes.
This is the one. As in terms of creativity, this is the top. This is not the top with most coverage that we got, but this is very good.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that. So the Vikings costumes, helmets. We are holding weapons and stuff. I'm not sure if they're in the picture there or not, but they are there. And of course the longboats. Now, disclaimer: it was actually my idea. The longboats. My dad did bring those to fruition, but I did think of the longboats. However, the rest of it is all of my dad. And yeah, we had TV interviews. We couldn't really walk 5 feet without having to have a photo taken of us that day. And whenever you go to an NFL game in London now, we are always on one of the videos of us cheering after the Vikings score in the stands from that game. So this is probably the one with I would say the most lasting effect in those terms. And yeah, we met the Minneapolis mayor on that day as well. He came down to us when we were sat in the stands, taught us the Vikings Skull song, which was pretty fun. So they went down an absolute smash, and they were fantastic, as you said. And I can't remember where I mentioned it, but I will pull it out now. While my dad, yes, he does design all these, my grandmother is usually the one that stitches and makes all these by hand. So much credit must be given to her, and she may even deserve a committee nomination into the LOC Hall of Fame for that effort. Could you not say?
That's it. I must admit, that's a lot of hand stitching going on there.
Yeah,
Jeez.
The Bears costumes, the Vikings costumes. I can't remember if she made any other ones, but yeah, a lot of work on the sewing machine goes into making those things. But then we go down to this was probably the golden age, I think it is fair to say, of the costumes. These 2 years where we had the Cowboys a year later, and I mention in the ramble in the paragraph there, one of my personal lifetime great moments, you'll recall as well, Chris. We were in the crowd watching Neil Reynolds and Michael Irvin up on the stage in the kind of the pre-game fan rally thing. Michael Irvin sees us, points over to us, and says, "That is what is great about football. 3 grown men wearing cow costumes," and he got the entire crowd to applaud us as well, and just insane, wasn't it, Chris?
That was mental. That's it, and we were quite close to the thing as well. And
yeah,
it was just man. That's it. That was absurd.
If you've ever have you seen Lord of the Rings, Chris?
Do you know what? This is going to sound really awful.
You've not seen Lord of the Rings?
I haven't any of them.
Okay, you won't understand this, but for everyone else that's seen Lord of the Rings, you'll understand. In the 3rd film, where right near the end, where the hobbits are stood in Minas Tirith, and Aragorn, this is all lost on you, Chris, and Aragorn says to the hobbits, "Friends, you don't not kneel for me, we kneel for you," and everyone there starts to kneel, and Frodo's just like looking around, happy as Larry. That was me at that exact moment. While we're talking, I will try and actually find that video, Chris, so you can see exactly what I'm on about. But just an insane moment. But the insanity really did not stop there, because Chris, you've got your phone thing on, but the commentators, they pointed us out. They even circled the udders on the Jumbotron. Move your there you go. There's a photo right there. That's a clip from the TV coverage. Yeah, we even got a free shirt that day.
I've still got it.
Still, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so we got singled out on the Jumbotron. Not only that either, we became a Reddit sensation for a day. Where we became memes. We hit the top of our... Yeah, you forgot about that. Yeah,
great.
Me and my dad.
You didn't get a thing of me.
Yeah, I don't know how you got cut out of that one. You're probably glad you did in hindsight, though.
I went to the loo at half time.
Oh, was that? So that was pretty hilarious as well. So these costumes went down an absolute treat, and even though we must mention Ollie as well. Ollie actually organised that part. My dad did not do the actual cowboy part, but that was equally hilarious and topped it off. And just the attention to detail in these costumes, with the players on the back, all of which Dallas players, which we somehow cowified, with Tony Romu, Rolando Muclane, and DeMarco Murray. Everything about it.
By the way, they love that.
Yeah. The commentators had not.
Those photos on the Cowboys Twitter, and they absolutely loved it. They were just like straight. As soon as they saw us, they were straight in going, "Can we do this? Can we do that?" I'm sure if you find there's probably the thing's probably still there, the feed. But I mean, yeah. The funny thing was that it was so polarizing between Americans that didn't quite get what we were trying to do, people that were just like, "Oh man, it's the best thing I've ever seen." So yeah, there was no in between. Really.
No, absolutely not. And the commentators, going back to them as well, they had no idea why we were dressed as cows.
No.
Which is, again, just like the fluorescent bears, pretty hilarious that they couldn't link the two things together. We even had an actual cowboy, technically. And just so for that callback of the clip I mentioned from Lord of the Rings, Chris, I described it to you, so you don't need the audio because you don't have it anyway. But I will play you the clip, and you will agree this is probably exactly how you felt as well. I'll have the audio for the podcast, so here we go.
You bow to no one.
Gotta love Viggo Mortensen too.
What a legend.
Here we go. This is what we were in that crowd.
Even Neil was bowing that day.
He is Michael Irvin. The rest of it is the rest of the crowd in the fan rally, and this is us, right here.
100%, that's it. I've never had it in my life really, where you can have thousands of people turn around and look at you all at the same time. I knew what it was to be famous for yet 15 seconds. Exactly.
Completely surreal moment, but certainly fantastic. But then it does not end there, because of course we go on to the next game. We have Bengals Costumes, another one made by my grandmother, designed by my dad, and as you can see here, lots of coverage as well, photos and such. And these were pretty good with the face paint, I must say. These are quite evocative costumes. Yeah, Tom went with the kitty cat. So yeah, they were brilliant as well. And we've of course that was the last major one we had, and we've reused a couple through the years as well. Just an insane catalogue of costumes which got so much attention, so many photos, brought so much joy, so many interviews and whatnot. They were just incredible, right?
That's it. I mean, they wouldn't have been the same without them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think to truly be front and center, you needed all these things with LOC Fantasy on your forehead or something, or
well,
on your chest.
We did try that one year. I don't know if it's in one. Yeah, on one of the photos here, you see on the defense signs, we did actually create like a Facebook and a Twitter account to try and get people to tag the photos and whatnot.
That counts. That's it, because that is a genuine link to the fantasy league. So I mean.
Oh, sorry, right. You were speaking LOC. Yeah, so this wasn't an LOC thing we said, but yes, I see what you're saying. To try and pop the LOC, we should have had that logo on instead. Maybe.
Yes, it just covered up the NFL one on the jerseys or something.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, just you wait till the draft video. I've got a funny little thing I did in the video in that vein, but we'll leave that till later. Yeah. So, so from a strictly fantasy point of view, if you think that, to be a Hall of Fame inductee, you've actually got to have something to do with the actual fantasy league in terms of performance or playing whatever. This probably isn't a nomination for you, but Chris, as you are on board with this being a credible nomination, please do tell us what your thoughts about this nomination possibly going to the LOC Hall of Fame.
Well, it's something that we haven't ever seen before, but it's also something that no one else does, and I think that what we're looking for in this year and other years, going forward, is something that we haven't seen before. Last week we showed you Ben's record, and that hasn't been done before. Yeah, this is unique, and it is a credible body of work. It's not just a flash in the pan, one game, one player, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
This is over a number of years, as you say. Brought a lot of smiles and a lot of joy to people, at these games live. And the number one thing as well, and we talk about the fact that we all went. This was without Dave. Would we all really write? Well, you certainly wouldn't be here.
Literally.
But without Dave and his evangelical spreading of NFL, would we all be here?
Probably not.
The answer is probably not.
No, and this is a point I like to come back to, that the LFC does tie us together as friends, which is nice because there aren't really many other friends outside of this league from, school and college and whatnot that I still talk to, certainly not on a regular basis, and it's just great that it keeps us all together. We might not see each other that often or, talk all the time, but we are all held together by this league, and like, as you say, without these costumes and my dad spreading his love of the NFL to me, and then vicariously, I suppose, me to everyone else, and bringing everyone to the games, obviously he enabling that, buying the tickets in the early years and organising all the travel and stuff. You are absolutely right, Chris. That must be considered part of this nomination as well, you could say.
It's a massive part. I think that if you're going to consider this vote, then you have to consider what the deeper meaning behind it. It's not just what you see in front of you. It's how you got to where you are now.
Yeah.
And gone to some of those games and enjoy what you enjoy today. And I know that wouldn't be the case for me had it not been for him, and therefore for you. So yeah, that's a massive, massive part of everybody's history now. And if we're going to talk about a Hall of Fame, then that's certainly credible, very credible, to go in.
Yeah, for sure. So it already sounds like Chris is going to have a hard time figuring out where his 3-point vote is gonna go this year. We've had 2 very strong nominations, if you deem them both credible, right off the bat. So unlike last year, where I think it was kind of tacitly accepted that ADRZ's trifecta nomination was probably a shoo-in, this year already we can see that there is going to be probably some fierce competition for the induction this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's going to be a battle on, and say we're only 2 in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I don't know who's next, but you are going to have a tough act to follow. But we'll have to wait to find out what that is. So, as I said, we already had Ben's last week. Go back and check that out if you've not already. I posted the links to the articles on the YouTube video and on the post for the podcast as well. So go check that out. That is the podcast for Bear Necessities Hall of Fame nomination. Just to recap, the head of marketing, all of the costumes for the NFL games, with the accompanying TV coverage and whatnot, and of course, really being the reason we're all here in this league together, you could also say. Thank you for joining me again, Chris.
You're quite welcome. This is good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be back here hopefully the same time next week to talk about another nomination. But until then, stay safe and have a good week. Catch you later, folks.